हेलो नमस्कार आप सभी को माय नेम इज मिंटू देवनाथ आई एम फ्रॉम बाल रक्षा भारत also known as save the children working for children across the country uh, today I am very privileged to have three distinguished panelists with me. I have Shahjahan Avidi, group captain and from Indian Air Force, and he is also a veteran of Kargil War. Welcome you, sir, in today's discussion. I have Miss Ilma Mirza. She's manager education with Save the Children Bal Raksha Bharat, and she's also a veteran on school safety and a lot of work around safety security around children and education space. I have Mr. Naveen Shukla. He's manager humanitarian DRR and climate change with Bal Raksha Bharat Save the Children, and he has been in this sector for a long time, working in disaster in the country and neighboring countries for last few decades. Today, we are going to actually talk about the child-centric disaster risk reduction and why children is so important in this whole disaster risk reduction, climate change, and humanitarian space. We all know that in any disaster or any climate induced event, the largest and most impacted is children. We take up any data in India and across the globe, we'll find that always children are actually the largely impacted population. Now, we all know that if the world is livable for children, the world is livable for everybody. So building a world for children or a resilient world for children is very important. Today's topic will focus on that how children can be mainstream or child-centric disaster risk reduction can be mainstream into the disaster risk reduction and climate change actions what we are doing. um, I start with sir, with you, that I know that from the background where you come, you have been a first responder always on the ground, and you have seen that how children has been impacted by the disaster, and a very strong strength response mechanism which we have with the Indian defense system, NDRF and other system. I think it's a commendable job, not only in India, across the globe. Many support we have seen in our life. Now, I want to know from you, sir, that how, in your experience, you have seen that how children is center of any response or any preparedness. What has been your experience? And if you can tell us your journey and bring us some ideas to incorporate children issues into the disaster risk reduction, will be a great honor.
Thank you, Mintoji. And I really thank BRB for giving me this opportunity to be on this esteemed panel and share my thoughts. Just as you brought out, the defense kids, the children, are naturally thrown into this resilience, matrix because one, there are frequent changes. My daughter, by the time she finished her 12th standard, was in school number 13, and I'm not counting the LKG, UKG sections. Different geographies, different cultures, different stations, and different level of facilities and education within the given school because of the diversity in geography. So naturally, that enables children when vis-a-vis a child I see who's born in one town, goes to one school, graduates after 12, 14 years of primary, middle, and secondary, higher secondary education, then goes to college, maybe in the same town or nearby town. Defense kid develops a lot of resilience, and it comes. A child is a child, like you said, and it's up to us as adults to give them the right environment, to give them, the culture of safety. Now, why do defense kids imbibe this naturally? Because their parents happen to be combatants. They have dealt with this change. They have dealt with this disruption that happens in their regular lives, and that naturally percolates to children. and that this is normal. We have to deal with it. Now we're in a new place, make new friends. This is new teacher. This is new school. The syllabus is, there is continuity. There's no continuity in anything else. And now I will also say why these children are better prepared, if I may use that word. While our the government schools do have a paucity of a safe infrastructure or an infrastructure that can enable these kind of trainings there, a defense school comes with this culture. I was the chief administrative officer of a 2,000-acre base in Bhatinda in Punjab, and the Air Force School, which had about 250 children. It was only up to class 4, small kids. The school was right from the right 150 meters from the gate. And as an administrator, my worry always was that if I go into red alert and I'm anticipating a terror attack, and while our SOPs are in place, I will secure them, I will move them more in depth within the station. What if there is a surprise attack? In a matter of minutes, the guy who's the insurgent who's inside the camp would be in the school. And these are very well publicized locations, because children from outside also come to these schools. Parents come and drop them. The school buses come and drop them. So was always my worry. But then when you look at these children and their confidence in themselves, that a siren is blown and they know where to go, where to sit down, what to do. Of course, kudos to the teachers and the parents themselves. So I'll finish by saying this, that since there is a cultural pretext to context to what we are saying about resilience, it comes down to children. And if we were to look at resilient children and DRR, I guess it has to start with us, parents, uncles, aunties. We need to tell children that this world is safe, and we are making it safer for you, working hard for you. And then I guess they would be open and they would train themselves a little better. With that, I rest my thoughts on the subject.
Well said, Captain. I think you have mentioned that how it is important for a child. Um, it's that school become a safe place, and you know that's the reason where children not only learn or grow in academically, but they also learn all their life skill, all their life saving skills. So that's the reason I think very important point you have raised. With this, I go to you, Ilmaji. You have been working with Balraksha Bharat for a long. You have been part of designing of school safety program, implementation of school safety program, also seeing the result on the ground. Now, we want to learn and hear from you that in terms of design to implementation journey, how do you think that school safety has been a prominent topic to the country, or how you see that it is so important for the future?
Thank you so much, Mintuda, and thank you everyone for having me on this panel. Um, while talking about how BRB perceives school safety, I would like to start with the mission or goal statement. BRB strongly believes in zero-day loss of learning and zero deaths due to conflict or disaster. So that is the premise we always set in before designing any school safety program or any program for that matter. When we talk about schools, it is unfortunate that we only think about the learning outcomes and the quality of learning, but we believe that before that, safety comes first. And for BRB, safety comes into the picture the moment a child steps out from the home for the school. So we always believe that it is always like from home to schools and back to the home. So fortunately, we have a very comprehensive approach that we call safe schools approach, and that focuses on three pillars. First is comprehensive school safety, that itself says, like the name itself suggests that it uh, it entails everything. And I think when we talk about school safety, we cannot just focus on one thing or one element. We need to have everybody on the same page, whether it's about the safer learning environment, whether it's about the personnel, the staff, school administration, and also how we are building like we were just discussing about the resilience in in the children. So it is important that we need to have that 360-degree approach. So that is a comprehensive school safety approach, that is a part of safe school approach. Then we have violence free schools, where we focus on any form of violence, be it physical, sexual, mental, uh, and how we can design the programs, design the interventions to completely you know control them, and to keep the schools violence free as much as possible. And then we have peace school, uh, another pillar. And while we are here, we have been BRB has a very long standing program in running in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, where we have successfully developed the peace education module also. And we are fortunate that the government has also taken up that and expanded it to the other government schools. So I think for Bal Raksha Bharat, for also known as Save the Children, even globally also Safe School approach has given us so much guidance, and we've been working in that direction through the different modules. And we have also collaborated with National Institute of Disaster Management, where we have developed an education in emergencies module. It's a one of a kind of module where we are training the different personnel from different departments, not just teachers, because it is the responsibility of everyone. Like we say that it takes a village to raise a child, so we truly believe in that. And so module development is a one part of it. Taking up everyone into the encouraging everybody's participation, whether it's communities, whether it's teachers or children, by forming the different school safety committees, or school safety audit is something that we encourage schools to take up. And I think I would also like to say that we don't see school safety only limited to the Safe Schools program. It is something that should be there and integrated in every program. It's a very cross-cutting issue that needs to be there by default. So I would like to rest here. Thank you.
Uh, Thanks, Nilmaji. I think you have correctly mentioned that uh, why school safety is so important, and comprehensive school safety is a global framework. And Bal Raksha Bharat and many other organizations actually follow the framework. And it's a very well thought, designed, comprehensive framework. Now, I also personally believe that, school safety is such a important program that will build our future generation safe. Providing a life-saving training in the school, providing or doing regular mock drill in the school, building their muscle memory in a such a way that when captain was indicating that a incident happening in front of a school, how in a few seconds you have to react and act. So I think school safety program and life saving skills such as first aid, CPR, and many other fire safety, many other tactics to the children within the school, I think it is so essential, so important, that it will definitely build a generation as a safety of culture of their in the day-to-day life. With this, I am now going to you, Mr. Naveen. Naveenji, you have been in the sector for a long, with Bal Raksha Bharat, with many other organizations in your past career. You have been here in India, you have in Afghanistan, many other countries during many emergency and crises. Now, being a practitioner in the sector, how do you see that a child-centric program, if we need to implement in the community, in the field, in the school, what will be the implementation framework? What has been your journey with Bal Raksha Bharat? What are the key activities, key innovative idea? What from you many people can learn, and many organizations can learn from there, that how those essential innovative actions and activities actually build more and more children resilient.
So thank you, Mintuda, and co-panelists for providing this opportunity. So based on of my experience or my journey in the sector, so I feel that children should be the one of the major key player who will perform the duty as a responder, as a first responder in the community. As like government, especially NDMA has introduced a program called Apda Mitra. They are preparing a first responder. So before, I think 2 years back, there was a system until that district level. Now they are adding one more layer, which is more talk about the ground level of first responder. Why not child can be a first responder? I have been witnessing many responses. Recently, I have been visited to Uttarkasi, which is one of the devastating flash flood that has happened. So I met one child, which is he was around 9-year-old, who saw the flash flood was coming, an entire household was vanished, where his mother, father, grandfather, all were died. Nobody was there to take care. And the children was not very much versed with that what need to be done at during that time. He is not aware that where to go, who is our first family members, where I can get the safety and security. Similarly, I have been in Nepal, so I saw thousands of the children were not evicted or not evacuated, not found. They were found missing. The thing is that if the child is not very much prepared in kind of any humanitarian responses, the preparedness must be not be as like accurate. So in that context, the first is that how a family or a child could be prepared. The resiliency start from the family. So now how we can make a family preparedness planning. That is a first, and for most thing, as of now, we are talking about the community preparedness, district preparedness, and state preparedness. Now, this is a current need where the number of disasters has been frequently increasing. In past couple of years, we have seen the frequency of disasters. So now it is a high time where we talk about the family level preparedness. We have witnessed that until unless the family will be prepared, they should be aware, then child should be more prepared and more resilient, and the active supporter for the resilient. Then second would be the institutional, as Elma mentioned about this, the school. Similarly, like Anganwadis, because these group is most vulnerable in any humanitarian like situation, then how the Anganwadi children should be prepared enough? So do we have such kind of module preparedness enough? Do Anganwadi know what to do in such kind of scenarios? So these institutions played a very crucial role to build the foundation of the resiliency amongst the children. So how the Anganwadi has been preparing, how the Anganwadi should know what to do during any kind of emergency responses, because they have a life-saving kind of the things they are doing. They are distributing THR, malnutrition. There are other few areas where they are working, lactating mother and pregnant women. How these services can be continued during any such kind of scenarios. So institutional level preparedness also one of the things that will bring the value to the community to revive the system within a few days of disaster. Third is also the large scale of community level disaster management and till the district level. So the ecosystem will be prepared, and our community, our administration, our government will more prepared to do such kind of disaster preparedness. And now the fourth is also infrastructure resiliency, which is very crucial and which played a very crucial role, because during any kind of disaster, we have seen a lot of damage and losses been reported. Recently, I was going through a report where the Himachal State Disaster Management Authority, through a PDNA report, I was quoting the PDNA report, where they mentioned there are more than 9,000 crore has been lost, damage and losses. The infrastructure loss was more than 3,400,000 crores. Then how we can build the infrastructure into a resilient manner, or how we can follow the building course so that the community who are living in such kind of the houses with indigenous knowledge and modern technology, how we can build the construction topology like that, so that the household, the infrastructure, the institutional public spaces can be more resilient, and which will be give us the weightage to the economic growth of the country also. With this, thank you.
Thank you, Naveen. आपने, you have mentioned a very important point that preparedness at the family preparedness at the institution, preparedness at the system level. I think these three approach, family preparedness, institutional preparedness, largely school and Anganwadi, and then system level strengthening where district disaster management authority, state disaster management authority, SDRF, NDRF, everybody comes together and follow a network of child-centric approach, or a children in the center of response, or children in the center of preparedness. So I think in both way, children in the center of preparedness, children in the center of response, this is something is need of the hour. I mean, you have mentioned also that I also personally believe that family preparedness is very important, and in this country we have done a lot of preparedness at the district level, at the community level, at the system level, state level, or even national level. But as of now, not much on the individual family level preparedness. One of my key actually has been a aspiration myself within the Bal Raksha Bharat working, that how we can create a campaign of family preparedness across the country, joint hand with many other organization and government counterpart to reach out to every individual household. Why I want to mention that, during the COVID, I have realized it very well that family preparedness is the actually ultimate preparedness. Because I, being a father of a 14-year boy, I actually felt that my son was really, really clueless and actually guidanceless, that what is his SOP if there is a scenario A and scenario B and scenario C, which taught me to actually think about a family preparedness. And during the COVID, I actually personally, which I learned from the sector, actually practices. So with this, Captain, I go back to you once again, that if you can bring one of your recent example. You were mentioning to me about some work in Srinagar, some example which for our participant will be a kind of a learning which they can replicate in their area also.
Thank you, Mintuji. Very happy to share experience. Just like I mentioned you, Radar has partnered with you before, and it was one of their programs to establish DRR clubs in the college level. I mean, they are children, they might be adults, but they're still children. And the JSDMA, we have Dr. Amir Ali, under his aegis, close to 35 colleges have been included for forming DRR clubs, wherein every month the sponsoring agency, that's the Radar, we forward them the monthly toolkit, which has got a certain training to be done, certain capabilities to be built up, certain exercises. And as you must be aware, there is a UGC mandate now that at the higher education level, you're supposed to have a 2 credit kind of a thing for DRR. But having said that, I would go back to my co-panelists, Ms. Ilma and Mr. Naveen's points. He brought out a very important point about community-based. If we see the journey of DRR over the past 5 to 6 decades, we first saw the community as a helpless entity. We were response-centric. Then we said, no, this is not working. We have to empower the community, make it resilient, response will follow. We flipped the coin. From there, I would like to take it into the future. Then within that CBDR, we brought in, we always thought women are helpless. Women need to be taken care of. But we now know that we have extensive women leadership, which is coming through the ranks, through the experience, and they're holding up the community, be it at the Anganwadi level, Asha sisters. I mean, phenomenal women leadership is coming through, and great work is happening. So from community as a vulnerable entity to empowering it, then looking at women up as not a liability, but as capability building instruments, and executing those skills and bringing those capacities to the community. I think the natural progression now is to move from women to children. That why is it that we think that all children are vulnerable? A point very well brought out by Mr. Naveen. He's saying that there are children who step up, while most children are lost. It is because they've not been trained. Every Republic Day 26, the President awards bravery awards to the children, right?
Yeah.
And you read those stories, they are phenomenal stories. That's not an adult. That's not a lady who's trained. That's an untrained child who's shown that saying, why don't we tap into this and we flip the coin again? That we create children leaders, a child leader among the community, and train him, equip him, sensitize him that if something happens, you are a responder as much as that a trained woman or a male leader. And why don't you step in and you assist? They could be elderly who would need the child. Sometimes, most times, our children are alone with our elder parents at home in the communities. So I guess we have, for an organization like Bal Raksha Bharat, which is so child centric, and now that we're having a session on child centric DRR, this is something that I would like to, that we should create a leadership creation among the children community, and then take it forward. Maybe it will take some time, like it took the CBDR space, and that is what I would recommend. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. You have rightly mentioned that Bal Raksha Bharat also believe on child champion, and I think we have been working in the sector for a long and in several decades, creating child champion for causes, for agenda. We have been actually championing ourselves in the country and globe also. I think this is the time where we also start thinking that child champion on DRR, child champion on climate. You also very interestingly mentioned about the DRR club in the colleges. I go back to Ilmaji again to you that I know Bal Raksha Bharat is also working on very interesting idea of eco club and creating children groups in the schools and community and working on climate issues and disaster. If you can just talk about some experience, some case studies to us, it will be great.
Thank you so much. I think we strongly believe that children are not just at the receiving end, they are equally, we believe that they should equally participate in all of our programs. And whether it's through the different groups, whether it's Eco Club, whether it's Child Champions, or even in our school safety committees, we have children participation in that. And like I mentioned earlier, school safety audits, even that is a very participatory approach, and children participate in that and they identify the loopholes because they know the best of their school, like what are the spots that that are dark spots, or they can be vulnerable at that spots. So while we were just discussing about that how we need to build the leadership among children, I was just thinking about one of the case stories that I came across from Budgam district from Jammu and Kashmir, where a child called Himayu, who was studying in one of the public schools, government schools, and the school was situated at a very busy road, and he used to feel very scared while crossing it, and he used to see that same fear among his peers and among his batchmates. And fortunately he was part of our one of the groups, and he was trained onto child rights and advocacy. And then he raised this question in one of the meetings, and he also approached to the president of the school management committee. And the school management committee, I'm glad that they took cognizance of it and they wrote a letter to the district authorities, and then they tried to manage that how they can control the traffic, especially during the peak school hours when the children are coming and when they are going back homes. So talking about leadership, it's like we need to build that. We need to identify those children. It's not that children, they can be much more, they have more potential there, they have better solutions, because as much as we say that we try to think from a child's perspective, but if we involve a child, then the child will be much more honest, and that it will be without any filter, the solution. So talking about that, even right now, because we are living in such a dynamic environment, that climate change has become very much relevant, and we've been talking about it. So we are also introducing eco clubs, which is also a mandate by the government of India. It's a part of life mission, and we are also developing those eco clubs in the schools where the training is also happening, where children are trained on the climate literacy. Like, at least I'll just talk about that, like a very minute thing, that sometimes even a vocabulary, lack of vocabulary, can impact on the, the results. So giving them the accurate vocabulary, that what is it, like even if they are facing a lot of heat, they need to know this is heat wave. So it's not just any summers or garmi ho rahi hai, it's a heat wave. So they need to know the correct vocabulary for that. So it's just one of the examples. So we are trying to build that through our eco clubs or children groups, and that replicates. It's not just going to be limited to that group, but how they are taking up that agenda, and they are spreading the message among their batchmates and schools through school assemblies, through different programs, through campaigns, even in the communities. They become champion not just in the schools but beyond the school walls. So that is something that we've been doing, and yeah, if I think children are the flag bearers of the future, so really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilma. I think you have mentioned, we all know that we have a vision 2047 as Viksit Bharat. I personally believe, and being a Bal Raksha Bharat representative, as an organization, we also believe that, we have to prepare that Viksit Bharat generation. Today's working with children, today's building a resilient children, actually building a resilient Viksit Bharat. So we are actually nurturing and creating the future generation more and more resilient. With this, I go to you, Navinji. This is my last question to you. Is that, I know Bal Raksha Bharat has been working with government and authorities very closely, and very closely actually complementing the effort of government mission and vision for a resilient India. So if you can highlight that, which are the government, which are the areas you have been working, and if you can mention that what was your experience and learning, would be a great learning for everyone.
So I think government has a very clear and long-term vision of Viksit Bharat, than how they build the resilience of the country. So at a apex level, we have NDMA, who has a supreme authority, who has developed a lot of SOPs, lot of guidelines for the state, and many more things has happened in past 15 years. We have saw a lot of changes that has happened. We are the pioneer and way ahead rather than in other or the neighboring countries by the government. So while working with the government, I saw their lens, their preparedness. However, into the children kind of lens, we have closely been working with various state governments like Himachal State Disaster Management Authority. We are closely working as of now, and we are building the resilience amongst the children. So one is that. Second is also we are working with the few IITs like IIT Mandi. We are working with the children. So as we are currently live where the children called as the Gen Zs and Alpha. So they are more prone into the techs and all. Then how we need to change our approach also to using the traditional learning and sharing mechanism. How we can build our kind of preparedness so to beat the children requirement and needs. So that's how we are closely working with IIT Mondays to introduce the AI for children. So where we are closely working, developing the resilience, preparedness, and stimulation exercises, especially on various hazards which are available. So how they stimulate this kind of the kind of hazards in a real like situations, and they can prepare enough. So these are the kind of the learning we are working with the IITs. Third is also we are working with the Central Building Research Institute, which is the apex body, comes under the Ministry of Science and Technology, known for the resilience construction. How the construction should be a child-friendly construction, the designing. So we have recently we built an entire village which was washed out in 2023. in Himachal Pradesh, where we started discussing with the government of Himachal Pradesh. They introduced the CBRI, Central Building Research Institute, who has designed the entire concept of the housing. They have designed the entire concept of the community spaces. They designed the resilience construction, the retaining walls, drainage system, roads, connectivity, energy, schools, retrofitting, Anganwadi retrofitting. So they have designed into the scientific evidence. And we also got a lot of learning that how the futuristic household can be developed in a low cost, sustainable way. So the kind of load bearing capacity should be less, especially in the Himalayan region. So that program we have closely working with Himachal State Disaster Management Authority and Central Building Research Institute. Right now, after that successful program, that CBRI has launched a Viksit Bharat Mission Mode program, which is called the Smart Village program. So it is a 7 climatic zone village where they have adopted one village, which is a mission mode village, where whatever they are developing into the labs, so they have the concept called lab to land. So whatever they have developed in the land, they want to introduce how this will be benefited to the families and communities so that the smart village can be developed. Second is also the major aim, how the income could be increased and expenditure could be reduced. So until unless the economic growth of the community and families due to the stress migration of disasters that is happening, how we can rebuild this entire village so that livelihood, education, protection, health, and everything could be available within the community, then it could be led the foundation of Viksit Bharat mission. There is also, we are closely working with the NDMA and NIDM also. So we have built various modules, how the child-centric modules are there. So we have developed a module called, as like Ilma mentioned, the education in emergency. We have developed a module, child protection and child rights in disaster and emergency. We have module called water and sanitation and hospital safety in disaster and emergency. And now emerging, like mental health is one of the major key areas. We have been working in Joshima's for 3 years. We have witnessed a lot of psychosocial issues that are been coming out for the children who has seen the kind of trauma which can be lead a lot of issues for the children. So we have developed a kind of modules with them, that MSPSS. So this training, we have trained more than 5,000 government and non-government officials, that so that the sensitization on basically a child-centric lens could be coming out and system can be prepared enough to handle the situation of the children. So these are some initiatives as an organization we are trying to build, trying to work, we co-work with the governments and state governments.
Thank you, Naveen. I think it was a very fantastic conversation with all three of you. I have gained a lot of knowledge. What I summarize in this way is that school safety is a non-negotiable integrated program. We should focus more and more. School safety should be part of all school, all government, private, and every school. Also, I take away from Captain is that addressing younger generation, working on disaster risk reduction with youth, adolescent is also very important, and we need to think about a large-scale program around that. I also learned that how the new generation who are more tech savvy and technology oriented, how we ensure that we use the technology, inbuild the technology oriented resilient preparedness program in future, and closely working with the technical institute, scientific institute, bringing scientific institute and technical institute with the civil society, with the government, and reaching more and more children and community on the ground. With this, what I believe personally is that actually we borrowed this planet from the future generation. Actually, a generation who is coming, all adults sitting here, we borrowed this planet from a future generation. We should work hard to actually return back the same planet we borrowed from them. With this, I close, and thank you very much, Ilmaji, Captain Sajan, Naveenji, and I think it was a fantastic learning for me.
Thank you so much, and I thank Bal Raksha Bharat once again and our eminent moderator Mintu ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you, sir. Very nice. Can somebody click एक इसमें ले लीजिए ताकि
Take your numbers.
and we are here very closely office and all. हाँ.
I have to work with you guys.
है ठीक है.
सर फ्रेम बनाना पड़ता है
हाँ okay.
सर सामने लिखे सर एक सेकंड सर कैमरामैन भी हाँ जी सर
Maybe yes, this Naveen number you keep it and Naveen.
Yeah, get it.
We have sorry, we have an office in Delhi, we have an office in Noida itself.
Okay, I see it.
And we are going to have a partnership with ICRAS very soon. No wonder.
I work here.
And the idea is I am having a conversation with Gupta ji to create a children hub within the ICRAS. So
I would love that.
so we will get a lot of opportunity. But I really thoroughly enjoy.
Same here. I enjoy it.
In my this career of 26 years of disaster, I have met a lot of different personnel, encouraging different personnel like close because any drill and everything we have defense personnel is our trained.
But you rarely find a defense guy doing PhD in that.
so I think that is something is
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
a big switch.
So
I think what went through me, I don't know, but I did.
we need people like
प्लीज कम टुगेदर सर आप लोग आगे आ जाइए
आगे आ जाएंगे ठीक है सर एक बार ऊपर चढ़ेंगे Thank you.
So much, sir.
Thank you so
It
much,
was
sir.
nice meeting.
Same here,
You see a young girl doing so well and doing so much for the community. Yeah?
Thank you,
But
sir.
we'll stay in touch. You're Delhi-based?
Yes, yes,
I mean, come to be around radar. You should share this on radar.
Yeah,
This video when it comes. That's group, huh?
हेलो नमस्कार आप सभी को माय नेम इज मिंटू देवनाथ आई एम फ्रॉम बाल रक्षा भारत also known as Save the Children working for children across the country today I am very privileged to have three distinguished panelists with me. I have Shahjahan Avidi, group captain and from Indian Air Force, and he is also a veteran of Kargil. That how in your experience you have seen that how children is center of any response or any preparedness. What has been your experience, and if you can tell us your journey and bring us some ideas to incorporate children issues into the disaster risk reduction will be a great honor.
Thank you, Mintu ji. And I really thank BRB for giving me this opportunity to be on this esteemed panel and share my thoughts. Just
many other countries during many emergency and crisis. Now, being a practitioner in the sector, how do you see that a child-centric program, if we need to implement in the community, in the field, in the school, what will be the implementation framework? What has been your journey with Bal Raksha Bharat? What are the key activities, key innovative idea? I'll just take a अच्छा मैं भी बैठता हूँ ना, मैं ये हमारा नेम प्लेट है, मैं बैठ जाऊँ और नवीन बेटा मेरे फोन में भी एक बार खींच दो ताकि हमें हमारे जनता को हमारे सोशल मीडिया में जाएगा भाई। आप एक काम करो, इन भाई साहब को बोलो तुम इधर आ जाओ और इधर आ जाओ नवीन। भाई साहब को देखिए, किसका फोन है? तुम्हारा फोन है? तुम्हारा? Then तुम्हारा फोन से answer करो। एक चीज का ध्यान रखिएगा सर, ये वाला लोगो है, एक इस कॉर्नर से लीजिएगा
सर आप हल्का सा इधर देखिए।
एक वो कॉर्नर से सब।
ठीक है सर।
आप तो एक्सपर्ट आदमी है, आप तो एक्सपर्ट आदमी है सर, आपसे थैंक यू वेरी मच भैया।
हेलो 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 चेक वन। हेलो 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 चेक 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 चेक